evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the world of V-Gaming Junkie News. The Dross was put into a coma for 7 years before it's ready to save the world, so there's nothing but pure gaming-related meatiness. It is all about the electronic good stuff as we dive deep in all that's new in the various interactive virtual worlds. So Epic Games has decided to copycat another game and slap its mechanics into Fortnite. It's kinda funny how we've sort of gone full circle, isn't it? Other games like Call of Duty slapped Battle Royale mechanics into itself to be more like Fortnite. Now Fortnite is the one shoving mechanics where they don't belong. Specifically, they made an imposter mode that's looking mighty similar to Among Us. One might even say it's quite sus, to say the least. As if that wasn't enough, one of their maps bears a striking resemblance to an Among Us map. To be more precise, Fortnite's loop control looks mighty similar to Skled from Among Us. Gary Porter called them out on it in Twitter, and rightfully so, to be honest. I can get being inspired by a mechanic given the amount of FNAF, Flappy Bird, etc. clones, but I mean, come on. Put in a little effort to make it different. This would be like if early first-person shooters had knockoff versions of Doom E1M1. It's like the homework meme, don't make it too obvious that you copied. And so Soulja Boy is back in the video game news again. Yep, good old Soulja Boy who had bootleg consoles with illegally copied ROMs on them whom Nintendo had to shut down. That's Soulja Boy. This time it's Atari putting him on notice because he claimed he owned Atari. Atari for their part quickly shot him down. Wade Rawson is still the CEO of Atari, and all Soulja Boy owns is a lot of hot air he seems to love belching out. I don't know if he's finally lost it or if this is just some kind of publicity stunt, but I'd quit while I'm ahead if I was him because this is just getting sad. If you want to own a game company, I suggest looking into promising young indie companies, at least those should be pretty cheap to pick up. And hey, nobody will have to call you out for lying either. So stop me if you've heard this one before. Companies decided they're going to remake an old property with shiny new graphics, but it's also going to censor out a lot of the existing content for, quote, modern audiences, unquote. Don't worry, for once this isn't about Disney's crippling addiction to live-action remakes. Nope, instead it's about Rockstar planning to remaster GTA 3, Vice City, and San Andreas as a trilogy launch. Oh yeah, and they're going to be neutering it too. Given that GTA is meant to be a satirical series all about mocking things like American politics, I get the funny feeling that means it's going to be stripped clean of anything controversial or, you know, edgy. GTA without its edgy humor is like Mortal Kombat without the violence, and if you want Mortal Kombat without the violence, ask Nintendo how well the Super Nintendo port turned out. There's a reason they stopped censoring violence after that game. Rockstar, if you start censoring things because they're offensive, that's a rabbit hole you won't escape from because Twitter will find problems with 99% of those games. So to anyone who got a Gigabyte brand power supply unit from Newegg bundled in with an RTX 30 series card, then I apologize, but Killer Queen has already left its mark on the PSU. Boom. No, but seriously, it seems Gigabyte is recalling these PSUs specifically. It seems they can actually throw sparks, making them a massive fire hazard, or if you're lucky, they'll just be dead on arrival. I hope they're prepared to replace anyone's computers and potentially houses if this thing actually lights anything up. If you have such a PSU, I suggest you take advantage of the return services on their website. Better to be safe than computer components becoming fried or worse. Talk about a very heated situation they've gotten into. So you know the meme, Skyrim being released multiple times and still having the same horrible glitches it had on launch? Don't worry, because Bethesda's actually going against that meme by only focusing solely on Elder Scrolls 6 and never re-releasing Skyrim Again. Fooled ya. It's getting an anniversary edition on November. Yep, Skyrim is continuing to get cheaply re-released. Well, on the plus side, owners of the special edition can get a free next-gen patch. You know, just so you can see it in a crisper resolution and probably get little to no other actual improvements. Although you get a lot of Creator Club content for the paid version. Hooray, you get all those paid mods included, you should only be so lucky. To be fair, if I was making newer games like Fallout 76 with such trashy reputations, I'd kinda want to keep digging into previous ones that are actually any good too. Maybe we'll actually get a new version of Fallout New Vegas, but I kinda doubt it because Bethesda is nothing if not petty, and reminding people of Obsidian's writing chops might give poor Toddy some nightmares. On to a lighter-hearted news story, it seems even Microsoft is aware of how silly their console's name is. Let's be honest, it's an awkward middle ground between Nintendo and Sony's ways of handling console names. Rather than just slapping a growing number behind it like Sony or coming up with an entirely new name like Nintendo, they just slap something random behind Xbox. In this case, the Xbox Series X. Because the X's in the Xbox wasn't enough, you see, we need even more X. Maybe it's to signify that you can watch raunchy content on it. You know, because it'll be triple X. Anyway, they made a short video for Instagram about the Series X next to its box, Xboxed in the shape of an X. Well, at least they have a sense of humor. Maybe for the next console generation, they can have some decent console namers too. Personally, I think they should go for the Xbox YZ, at least then it would have alphabetical humor. So good news for people who've been meaning to play through Psychonauts, so me. In anticipation of the second game, up through the 25th, you can buy Psychonauts for just $1. Cue the RoboCop guy talking about all the kinds of things he would be most interested in purchasing in exchange for $1. It's one of those games I've been meaning to try, aside from that one glitchy Let's Play of the PS2 version I emulated. Well, at least I've got the Steam version now. It's also $1 on the Microsoft Store as well as the Xbox One and Series X. No surprise though, Sony is living up to their sour reputation and it'll still be $10 on PSN. Yep, bet you didn't think this news story would turn into another take that against Sony, did ya? Must really feel like a stab to the gut or something. Don't worry though, this is Sony, so I'm sure any blood that comes out will be censored black. But yeah, this is your chance to get Psychonauts super cheap if you're so inclined. And so it seems there's a mod in the works aiming to remake Team Fortress 2 in the Half-Life Alyx engine. If this was a Nintendo game, I'd expect an instant C&D followed up by everybody's hopes and dreams suddenly being crushed. Since it's Valve though, we might even see it on Steam with a price tag. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it ended up like Black Mesa. It would probably provide extra incentive for people to get a VR headset. I mean, personally, I still can't afford one if my life depended on it, but I hope all the rest of you who can will find this mod exciting. If nothing else, at least regular old TF2 doesn't require VR, so unlike Half-Life Alyx, I still have options. No, but seriously, what little there is looks really good. I look forward to its progress, and I have seen TF2 characters in Source 2 lighting before. I bet if it makes headway, it'll make TF2 look even more Pixar-like with the newer tech. And speaking of awesome fan remakes, it seems there's an effort to remake the Simpsons Hit and Run. By far the best Simpsons game ever made, at least in my opinion. Hit and Run is an urban sandbox where you play as almost every single member of the Simpson family. Instead of Maggie, you get Apu because everybody loves Apu. Well, except a certain part of the internet, but that's a different story. Moving on, this fan remake attempts to recreate the mechanics of the game like the collection mechanics, kick mechanics, and propulsion mechanics from Steam Vents. It also has vehicular functionality, and he even took the time to make Homer lip-synced when he makes one-liners. All in all, it's looking very impressive, and I really hope EA or whoever owns The Simpsons now doesn't shut it down, Disney. I'd really love to get a chance to play around with this remake one of these days. And as always, from the page of Games Radar, it's time for the latest batch of release dates fresh out of the oven. Starting on the 23rd is Fling to the Finish for PC. The 24th has Aliens Fireteam Elite for PC, PlayStation, and Xbox, King's Bounty 2 for the old Band of 4, and Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts 2 for PS5. The 25th, correlating to the first one's discount expiring, has Psychonauts 2 for PC and Xbox. The 26th has Have a Blast for PC and Switch, as well as Hotel Life, a resort simulator for all major platforms, new and old. In addition, Spelunky 1 and 2 released on the Switch. The 27th has Baldo for the old Band of 4, No More Heroes 3 for Switch, and Tormented Souls for the 4 current systems. That'd be PS5, Series X, Switch, and PC if you didn't know. The 30th has Book of Travels for PC, but the 31st has an Avalanche. You've got the Big Con for PC and Xbox, Crown Trick for X1 and PS4, as well as Kiwi for everything new and old. You've also got Manhunter Truth Harvest DLC for PC, PlayStation, and Xbox, Monster Harvest for the old Band of 4, and Rustler for PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch. Rounding things out on the 31st is Train Life, a railway simulator for PC. September 1st has Lake for PC and Series X. The 2nd has a Total War Saga, Troy Mythos expansion, and Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous for PC, as well as WRC 10 for PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. The 3rd begins with Big Rumble Boxing, Creed Champions for the old Band of 4, and Family Trainer for Switch. Finally, Kataria Fables for every major platform, and the Medium for PS5 round out the 3rd. This week's epic freebie until next Thursday is Void Bastards. It seems to be a strategy first-person shooter that's sci-fi themed. The cel-shaded look is actually quite nice. The second one is Yooka-Laylee, the attempt to recapture the magic of Banjo-Kazooie, but perhaps a bit too well. It's described as mediocre, but hey, it's free now. Finally, from the 26th to the 2nd is Automa Chef, a resource management puzzler. Or at least that's what the description blurb says. It looks to use conveyor belts and other machinery for culinary purposes. And as always, that rounds out this news week. I hope you enjoyed it and were well enough informed. As always, I Let's Play every single day, 10 a.m. and 2 p.m, live stream Mondays and Fridays unless otherwise specified at 4:30 p.m, and I swap between game reviews and game news videos Sundays at 6 p.m. That's Eastern Standard Time, of course, but you can always subscribe and that bell icon if you don't want to worry about keeping track of time zones. A like is always appreciated for the algorithm, but I just hope you genuinely enjoyed yourself, and that is it for now. Thank you so much for tuning in with me. Spread this video around like Yuri's knife collection, and I'll see you next time. Capitalize on life, peace out, have a good one, and I'll see you next week.